The iPhone 11 in 2022. Should you buy it? What's really going on with it? Then let's begin. Let me start by saying and talking about the price and saying how much I paid for this exact iPhone 11 that I have in my hand. So it's the 128GB version, it's in white color and it's just the regular iPhone 11, and I managed to purchase it for 375 euros, which translates to about 425 US dollars. I bought it on eBay. Currently it's the January of 2022, and this is an iPhone in a perfectly good condition with more than 90% of battery health. So it's used, but it's in a very good and fully functional state. We are naturally going to be talking about all aspects of this iPhone and how it all applies to this year with all of the newer iPhones and everything with the current situation. But starting with the price, as I already did, well, this isn't the best price what you can get it for, and I was looking for the lowest prices on eBay, and I don't think that it's worth it to buy it used. Because if you go to the Apple's website, you can buy iPhone 11 with the same capacity brand new for only just 120 additional dollars, which isn't that big of a difference because we're considering an iPhone. So the 128 gigs costs right now $549, and 64 is $50 less, which again makes it really, I don't know, kind of like a bad decision to go for the 64 gigs when you can only pay $50 more to get 128 gigs, which is double the storage. So definitely think about buying it brand new if you are really into it, because you're not gonna save much speculating over the storage capacity and the price on eBay. Anyways, like I said in the title of the video, the iPhone 11 is the new iPhone XR. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Well, because if you remember, when the iPhone X got released, it was the main flagship, but the next year the iPhone XS replaced it and the iPhone X just disappeared from Apple's lineup. It means that it was no longer sold on the official Apple's website. And the cycle usually repeats itself. When we get a new iPhone, the older ones simply get removed in order not to be like distractions on Apple's website. The iPhone 8 and iPhone XR were an exception because these iPhones stayed a lot longer as a part of their lineup. And right now, iPhone 11 is serving that purpose. The purpose of being the hook which gets you to buy a new iPhone and stay in the Apple's ecosystem, because it's one of the cheapest iPhones available, it's still usable and good with some compromises on the screen, perhaps cameras, but it's still nothing terrible and it's a great phone. But with some compromises, like I said, to make the price a little bit lower and therefore attract probably new customers. So what's currently going on with the iPhone 11 is that it's one of the cheapest iPhones that you can buy brand new, and that's just a great start. But let's talk about other things. So the specs of this iPhone in relation to this new year. Like, of course, the Apple event, which is in September, is really far away, and if you buy the iPhone right now, there's plenty of time till you will need or until the new iPhone comes out or something. So it's not like the iPhone is going to become outdated really soon. But when it comes to the actual specs, the specs are not really stellar or like the best, but definitely good enough. So we have 6.1 inches of screen real estate on the front, then we have 12 megapixel camera, 4 gigs of RAM, and 3100 mAh of battery. Like I already mentioned, when it comes to the specs, the iPhone 11 has a lot of compromises, but in areas where the average consumer, where the average user doesn't really pay a lot of attention or doesn't really care about it that much. Because let's compare it to something like the iPhone 11 Pro, which is the Pro version of the iPhone 11. In order to cut the price and make them more affordable, the iPhone 11 is actually heavier by a couple of grams. It's thicker, it's longer, it has lower screen-to-body ratio. That means that more bezel is visible, and more things like this, including the display having smaller PPI numbers and smaller resolution, you could say. So that's some things that are actually lower in specs, but people don't really seem to pay a lot of attention to it, at least those that this iPhone is dedicated to. On the other hand, some other features like the Face ID, wireless charging, dual lens setup with a wide-angle camera lens, and a very high-quality main camera lens, this all has been preserved and it just works well. This is the stuff that more people care about. And speaking of camera on the iPhone 11, the camera is just great. For a lot of times we're talking about the average consumer, but for those people it's definitely going to be enough. Of course, the wide-angle lens is a little bit more grainy, but it's nothing that would just deter you from using that. It only lags the telephoto lens, but that's not being used by a lot of people. And when it comes to video recording, you can of course shoot 4K videos at 24, 30, and 60 FPS, 1080p at, again, 30, 60, 120, and 240 FPS. It supports HDR, stereo sound recording, and other great things. It's still an iPhone that you're gonna be using as a daily driver and will definitely not regret it. The only thing I kinda don't like about it is that the bezel is kinda bigger around the display, but that's more like a design point of view, and when you're buying the iPhone you already see what's really going on, so you can decide before purchasing. The software is about to be supported for, I believe, at least 5 more years, and that's just great because it has been released like 2 years ago. It of course supports iOS 15, and it is going to support the next updates most definitely. There are plenty of accessories to go for it, just like with every iPhone, so it's not like a forgotten iPhone 11 or something. You're gonna find so many cases, covers, and other Apple-related accessories for the iPhone 11 as well. So some final thoughts of this include that I think that it's definitely a capable phone, and there's nothing wrong. It's not like you could really go wrong with buying this as a brand new or used iPhone in 2022. So I would say that I would encourage you to do so. One thing, however, before you purchase it, make sure to have it in your hand or be aware of the actual size of this iPhone. While it's not advertised as a flagship or like the Pro Max model, it's still really huge in size and it's still very big in your hand. It's actually bigger when it comes to size and larger than the iPhone 11 Pro. It's something between the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. If you take a look at it compared side by side with the iPhone 11 Pro Max, this is the Max model and it's just a slightly smaller. There's not like a huge jump from it. So this iPhone 11 is definitely one of the bigger phones when it comes to the size that you have in your hand. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed this video, hope you found it helpful, and for more content like this, for more videos in the future, make sure to subscribe and we see each other in the future uploads. Have a great rest of the day.